from National Priorities Project. I'm Mattea Kramer. In our last brief, we were taking a stroll along the fiscal cliff. What's the fiscal cliff, you ask? That refers to a gaggle of federal spending cuts and tax increases that are all scheduled to take effect in January of 2013. Now together, all of these policy changes would substantially reduce budget deficits in future years. But you've heard the old saying, between a rock and a hard place? Well, our good friends over at the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget have just released a report. It's called Between a Mountain of Debt and a Fiscal Cliff. They point out that we face a tough choice. Sure, we want to reduce budget deficits, but we don't want to do so in a way that would dampen our already damp economic recovery. For example, immediate and deep cuts to federal spending would certainly bring with it layoffs. And this fiscal cliff, besides containing spending cuts, contains even bigger changes to the tax code. For example, as of December 31st, 2012, the Bush-era tax cuts are scheduled to expire. Now, these are the tax cuts enacted by President George W. Bush in 2001 and 2003, and then extended by President Obama in 2010. Because of these tax cuts, millions of Americans pay lower taxes each year. But they've been criticized because a lot of the benefits of these tax cuts have gone to the wealthiest Americans. Plus, these tax cuts have added trillions of dollars to budget deficits over the past decade. And if we extended the whole package of tax cuts, they're projected to add another $2.8 trillion to budget deficits over the coming decade. Still, many people say that at least parts of these tax cuts should be extended. For example, there are tax credits for low-income Americans, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit. Many people say that those tax cuts should be extended. So the question facing lawmakers is, what parts of these tax cuts should be extended and which should expire? Many Republican lawmakers argue that we should just extend the whole package of tax cuts, while President Obama has proposed extending the tax cuts only for families making less than $250,000 a year. This is just another simple, straightforward negotiation facing lawmakers as we approach the end of the federal fiscal year on September 30th, the elections in November, and the end of the calendar year, December 31st, after which these tax cuts are scheduled to expire. Now, if you need a little more help facing all of these budget complications over the next few months, it just so happens we have a book for that, A People's Guide to the Federal Budget. You should check us out and stay with us.